All right, and let's now round up today's top stories in the world of science and tech with CTV science and technology expert Dan Riskin. Dan, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us again.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning to you. So this topic, I'm sure, is very interesting to all parents like you and I and the ones watching, but becoming a new parent is an adjustment. What are studies showing that happens neurologically for new fathers? Something changes in the brain, right?
Oh, this is an ugly one. Parents, so when you have a kid, you know your world changes. But if you're a dad and you've gone from not being a dad to being a dad, so birth of your first child, a new study shows your brain shrinks 1 to 2%. I know. So, I mean, I felt something happen, but now I know what it was. So apparently, part of the brain that is associated with something called the default mode network, which is associated with warmth and acceptance of the child. This is a part of the brain that weirdly shrinks when you become a dad. And you would think it would get bigger and stronger, but actually, what neuroscientists say is happening is that the brain is actually getting more efficient. It's pruning away the connections that it doesn't need, and it's using that default mode network more, and as a result, it's becoming more efficient. So it gets rid of some extra brain it didn't need to focus its energy on what it needs to do. And so when a dad becomes a dad, his brain shrinks 1 to 2%. This does not give him an excuse to forget everything and to do a bad job on things and say, well, my brain shrunk. What am I going to do? I mean, it's a battle when you first have kids. So you can't use that as an excuse.
Yeah, absolutely not. I certainly noticed my husband forgetting more things, but, you know, talk about shrinkage, another thing men have to worry about. Okay, so Dan, are you a nighttime snacker? A new study adds evidence that meal timing might affect your mental health.
This is an important study. If you're somebody that has midnight snacks, or worse, if you're somebody that has to work the night shift, if you're watching the show at the end of your awake time and you're about to go to sleep, this is a study you should really listen to. They were worried about mental health of people who work late night shifts, you know, people that work in hospitals or other kinds of jobs where you have to be up all night. And so for the study, they took a whole bunch of people and made them switch to being awake at night and sleeping during the day, as many shift workers do. And then half of them were allowed to eat anytime they wanted, and half of them had to eat only during day. So around the time they normally would be sleeping. So they mostly had to do their eating right before they went to bed or right after they woke up. When they looked at the mental health of those people, the people that could eat throughout the day and night had increases in depression-like symptoms and anxiety-like symptoms, 26% increase in depression, 16% increase in anxiety. But the people who only ate when the sun was in the air didn't get those depression or anxiety symptoms. So this suggests that eating at night, those midnight snacks perhaps, might be bad for our mental health.
Wow, that is fascinating. I'm going to have to share that one with my sister. She's an editor or filmmaker, so she stayed up editing for many years. All right, last topic, Dan. There's a sweet spot for how fast you walk and how many steps you should be getting in daily. What's this about?
Yeah, so if you're somebody that wears an activity monitor, a lot of us have watches that keep track of these things, or you can wear an accessory on your hip or whatever. 10,000 steps has been sort of flagged as this great line in the sand that you should try to cross all the time. A new Australian study looking at 78,000 adults shows that 10,000 really is a magic number. If you're crossing that number, you see decreases in dementia, heart disease, cancer, and death rates. So 10,000 is the number you should be aiming for. But the other thing the study showed is that how fast you take those steps has an influence as well. So if you're somebody that walks quickly, you're actually doing more benefit to yourself than if you're somebody that walks slowly. The problem with that, though, is like it's hard to know if you're walking fast enough because they didn't really give like a number that you can aim for on your watch. So in general, taking a leisurely stroll versus a brisk walk, it's better to do the brisk walk. But as long as you're getting those 10,000 steps, you're already working miracles.
Hey, that's good. And I hope all the slow walkers are listening to this out there, because I don't know about you, Dan. Every time I'm on the sidewalk and people are just, there's, you know, a whole conga line in front of you of slow walkers. Yeah.
Yeah, they're always right in front of you. They're never behind you. They're always right in front of you.
I hope they're listening. Okay, CTV science and tech expert Dan Riskin. Thanks again. Have a good day.
Thanks.
All right, consider yourselves warned out there in TV land. This is your spoiler alert. Last night was the Season 8 finale of The Amazing Race Canada. Here's how it all went down.
my God.
Is this real life? Yes, it is. Hug it out, winners. Yeah, joining me now, your Season 8 Amazing Race Canada winning team, BFFs, Catherine and Craig. Congratulations.
Thank you, George. Thank you for having us.
It's good to have you here. Catherine, let's start with you. I want to know how you two decided to enter in the first place. Was it like, aha, eureka moment, or was it like a slow burn that you've been watching for years on TV thinking, we can do that?
Well, we had just done a Royal Winnipeg Ballet production of Romeo and Juliet, Lord and Lady Capulet, and we had so much fun that we wanted to do something like that again. And the only thing we could really think of was Amazing Race Canada. So while he was there, we made a video and sent it in. I think we cut it to like 5 minutes, but then you sent in the entire video.
I'm like, 5 minutes doesn't do justice. Here's a 20-minute video of Catherine and I.
It could be a half-hour special. You can throw a few commercials. You got a half-hour show
listen,
right there.
we got on the show, so we're just
That's
thrilled.
incredible.
Yeah.
Did you come into this thing with a strategy, and how much does your background, your training, the discipline of success from your work in Broadway, you're dancing with the ballet, how much did that factor into how it all ended?
A lot, actually. Catherine and I have been so fortunate to have great careers on the stage, and we were part always of an ensemble. And we went into this Amazing Race Canada with that mentality. We wanted to work with others. We did have an OG alliance, but ultimately everyone got along really well together. And you can see that when, as soon as we enter into that final pit stop, our friends! It was a really collective effort, and so many people helped contribute to this actual legacy win for Catherine.
You've been going through a lot in your life in the last number of years, right?
Yes.
Fighting for through cancer and this battle. How did that factor into it on a day-to-day basis?
Every day, I fight brain cancer. So it's not just when I was going through it, it's every day I have obstacles that I have to worry about. But it helps me to have people that love me, surround me, my husband, who's right there. Yeah, hi, Joel. And just being around people that care about you, that I can ask for help.
It's brave that she asks for help. And all too often, I think people isolate themselves, and they know that something might not be the same that it was before the diagnosis. But Catherine is so brave, and she is asking what can she do to improve and make herself better, and she did that throughout the race, which is a whole nother level of responsibility that hopefully no other racer in history will ever have to do.
Yeah, because isolation can be kind of the default response to when you're having trouble, but
not mine.
Not yours. You know, it's an inside job, you know, to take care of yourself, but it's also, you know, it's a team effort. And here you are, proof positive of that with how it worked out on the Amazing Race Canada. Craig, did the experience give you kind of a new outlook on competition, this massive, beautiful, diverse country, and, you know, yourself and your abilities?
Yeah, it certainly did. The competition, I don't think we've ever been in competition with anyone in our lives, in our careers, and especially like this, because we care so much. And I think if we actually raced this pre-COVID, we would have went in with a more aggressive attitude, but because we had a lot of compassion that every Canadian has been traumatized by the pandemic in some way, form, or another, that we went into it with compassion. I think that's what's made us really different and brought the collective together.
And you both ended up getting COVID during the competition.
Biggest challenge.
I mean,
that was our hardest.
Amazing Race Canada.
It was devastating, of course. We had won leg 3, and right after that, we got COVID. We didn't know what was going to happen, but thankfully they invited us back, and it was very stressful because there was only 2 places, and you know, Dennis and Darrell, we want them to be in season 9. We want them to make a comeback, but it was we're so grateful that we were allowed back in and that we could focus on just getting to the finale. So once we got to the finale, we were like, oh my gosh, we're in the finale.
Although I will say, leg 4 and 5, those, when we watched it, a lot of those challenges, I think we would have crushed.
Yeah.
I think we would have done well. Yeah. We would have much rather been on leg 4 and 5 than have COVID.
We're out of time. One line of advice for future contestants.
Pick the right partner.
I was going to say, trust your partner.
Well done. Wow. Craig and Catherine, thank you very much for giving us some time, and congrats.
Thank you.
Enjoy your trip around the world, your pickup trucks, and your cash.
Trip around the world.
Well, end of summer blues got you down. Well, this week-long event will give you something to smile about. Just for Laughs Toronto is back in full force, celebrating 10 years of laughter. JFL Toronto begins today, and Los Angeles stand-up comedian Atsuko Okatsuka joins us live now ahead of her show tonight at Comedy Bar. Atsuko, welcome to Toronto. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm good. Thank you for having me,
this
Jennifer.
is exciting because I know you've been to Vancouver and Montreal for JFL, but this is your first time in Toronto. You've got 9 shows starting tonight up until Sunday.
That's
but I
right.
want to talk about your comedy because I want people to know what a funny lady you are. Your comedy is feel good. You have a viral drop challenge that you showed to Chelsea Handler on Jimmy Kimmel.
That's right. And Guillermo joined in on it. Yeah.
And you did it with your grandma. So maybe if we have time, we can get into that after.
Oh, 100%. Oh,
yes.
after?
Yeah, or do it
you're
now.
trying to hide it from the people.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to do it together?
Show me. Show me the drop challenge.
You're just kind of like doing whatever, and
We'll hold
then I'll say, "Give me some," and then I'll make the sound with my mouth. Boom. That's when you drop. So we're just like chatting. We're like,
hey,
"Oh, what a great day! Give me some," and then boom.
Boom. Drop challenge. Boom.
It's kind of like that. You really want to
You're going so low, Atsuko.
You really want to get back to the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Back to the earth where you're from.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the drop challenge.
It's really just about like going back to your roots.
Boom.
Yeah. Where are you from? You know, just
hey, where are you from? Like,
yeah.
Awesome. Atsuko, let's talk about your comedy. You have a special coming up on HBO, but I know you did one before on Hulu called They Called Me Stacy.
Right.
So that was a lot about your upbringing, your family, because you are an immigrant to the U.S. So tell us more about what people can expect at your shows.
Yeah, so, so that was like sort of my origin story hour. And this one is, now that I've been in the States, now that I've been here, this one's called The Intruder because earlier this year, my husband and I had an intruder come to our house.
Oh, no.
3 times in the same day.
What?
And I know, really...
terrifying.
3rd time's the charm, And so after the 3rd time, there was no more of it. But it's kind of about... That's sort of the backbone, and I won't give too much away.
Don't spoil it, Okay.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah, and so that's what my hour is about now.
Right, and you, back in, I think it was the summer of 2019 at Pasadena, there was an earthquake. You did a set that went viral at the Ice House, and you say that the earthquake is kind of like a quiet heckler because it doesn't talk back, but you really learned a lot about yourself because that really tested your skills as a comedian, right? There's improv, and when in comedy, you're used to having your jokes kind of scripted in your mind.
Right, 100%, but you have to be ready to play, really. Anything could happen. It's windy right now in Toronto, right? Like you might be doing your set and the wind's too strong. There goes the roof, you know what I mean? And you have to be able to play with it. Drunk people, all the time, maybe saying things back to you. So what's an earthquake really? That's, that's really what we've been training for, And my upbringing, it was already unconventional and chaotic. I was like, a 7.1 magnitude? I got you. I got this. So that's what happened, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely made people feel safe and they got to enjoy your comedy and the show. Now, Pace Magazine says that your comedy style is childlike quality performed with a stage persona of complex and challenging upbringing. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I think, a lot of me is trying to find levity. Every day is so hard. Sometimes you have a great day. You wake up, you say, I'm going to have a great day. You open the door, bird poops on your head, And so I understand people who put the live, love, laugh signs up now because I'm like, everything is so hard, And so, that's where the feel-goodness, I think, sort of comes from.
For sure. Yeah, and we know comedy, stand-up comedy is so hard. It's mostly writing jokes in the daytime and then testing them out at nightclubs or open mics at night. But you say that you're really focusing on character and persona. And I mean, we know that oh gosh, you guys need to see Atsuko's Instagram. She has not just the drop challenge, but all these amazing twerks and dances with her family. So it's not just that, but it's about your personality and you're really honing that. So, look, I wish you the best of luck. This is really special. But maybe talk about, your tour in the U.S. called the Disoriented Tour. It's mostly Asians and it's mostly female, and how that's really breaking barriers, especially in, what was the Trump era and all the anti-Asian racism we saw because of the pandemic.
Yeah, so that's a show that we no longer do, actually, but we founded it in 2012.
Yeah.
Because at that time we were like, oh, this would be really great to, you know, just see who else is out there that like this sort of underserved market at that time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so it was something we did for not just the community, but also, you know, when you can't get through the front door, you know, you gotta create your own shows and spaces, and that's
your
what
own
we
platform.
were doing. Yeah, with that.
Right, because
yeah.
I once spoke to a comedian, Paulo Gata. He's based in Asia, but he said there was that attitude a few years ago that there was like in comedy clubs, oh, we already have an Asian on the show, we don't need you. But hopefully that's changed now, right?
Yeah, yeah, where if there's 2 Asian comedians on the lineup, it's not suddenly, oh, we're at Asian night.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know. No, it's just like a comedian, 2 comedians.
Exactly.
Yeah.
2 comedians who happen to be Asian doing comedy.
Right.
Right. Well, Atsuko Okatsuka, thank you so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Have a great time in Toronto, and good luck on your shows.
Thank you, I will.
Yeah, take care.
But we love it. Raising plastic cups to a life of luxury. C'est la vie on a Friday. We get dressed up in a blue jean tux and we go where you don't hear the highway. Doing doubles and bubbles to get in all kinds of trouble.
Well, the winner of the 2nd season of NBC's Songland and up-and-coming Canadian country singer and songwriter Madeline Merlot is back with a brand new and fresh EP. 4 song tracks, 4 songs on the EP. It's titled Slide, and it serves up a natural step toward her musical journey and in life. So Madeline joins us live now on CP24 Breakfast, live from Nashville. Madeline, good morning to you and congratulations. Your EP Slide is out today. What has this journey been like after winning that NBC Songland reality show contest, and to your career now after you've signed with your music label?
It's been an incredible journey. I'm so grateful for Songland. It kicked down so many doors for me, and as an artist, as a songwriter, you know, I was able to write with people that were on my bucket list. So honestly, the last few years after that has been amazing. It's been a little bit of a wait to get this music out, just with the world and all the things that went down. But I'm so thrilled to have it out today.
Yeah, and you co-wrote all the songs in that we're hearing today that are being released, including Slide, which is the track title, as well as Youngish and Girl Where He Grew Up, as well as a song called I Need a Drink. And all your songs are very relatable, and they feature, as you say, strong female characters who know what they want. I never heard music described that way, so I'm curious, are these different facets of yourself when you're writing these songs?
Absolutely. I think that I'm passionate about making music that feels good, that empowers people, and I'm passionate about telling female stories from the female point of view as well, too. So I don't even think that's like a really intentional thing. It's just who I am. I write, you know, off of personal experience and from, you know, what's going on. So I think it just ends up that way, but I'm certainly proud of it. And yeah.
And Madeline, you also say that you always feel like you have something to prove, the spirit of something to prove, wanting what's next, even when things are going great. So I'm curious for you, after you won that contest, NBC Songland, did you celebrate it? Did you really relish in the moment, or were you like, what's next, what's next? I'm curious about how that attitude has evolved in your career.
Yeah, I think that comes from, I mean, growing up, I've been singing my whole life and working from a really young age, and I wasn't always in first place and always kind of cast in the chorus or third place. And so I've always had a really tenacious spirit, which I think is very necessary for this tough business. But when the Songland win came in, I certainly took some time to celebrate it. It was the first time a song from that show had ever gone to the radio. It was a 3-week #1 song. It was a truly unexpected blessing in the truest form. So I took a moment to appreciate that for sure.
All right, singer-songwriter Madeline Merlot, congrats on your new EP, Slide. Thanks. It is out today, and we'll be hearing from you again soon. Take care. Thanks for joining us.